Hey besties, welcome back to the Not Sorry podcast. I am your number one tough love friend because we all need those people in our lives, right? So welcome back to the pod. Today's topic is very exciting because it's something I've been super passionate about for all my life because it's just who I am. We're going to be talking about some confidence, some self-love, because you're not going to be walking around this beautiful life without feeling good about yourself, without loving yourself. Like, that is an actual crime. It honestly is. And it's okay. Easy for you to say, Katelynn. Well, this is what we're discussing today because it ends today. Because I don't like that the people that I love don't love themselves. Right? This is a very intense topic. It can get very deep. We can go down so many rabbit holes. And, it's really interpretive on how you want to take this information and where you want to go with it. It's just something I've always been very passionate about because I did grow up just kind of a naturally confident person. So I can confidently talk about this topic. Well, I grew up around boys. Like, that was my main source of influence, was 3 older brothers and a very type A dad. All my brothers, except for one, he might be more of a type B. The jury's still out on that guy. It's my twin brother. But I did really have a confidence influence in my life. And I'm not going to lie, it does help growing up around men who are full of themselves, but not in a toxic way. They're all good guys. Jury's still out on my dad, though. Don't tell him I said that. But yeah, and as an extrovert too, of course, it's easier for me to talk about this kind of stuff, but we can all learn things from each other, right? That's what friends are for. That's what people are for. That's what everything is for. We can learn from everything in our environment, even if you only have yourself to go off of. So if you have extroverted friends, be around them a little bit more. It's what they say with, the 5 closest people to you are your most greatest influence. So if you want to be a successful business owner or have lots of confidence or something, surround yourself with people that are more like that. I got into that when I first started my fitness journey. I feel this burp coming on, I'm telling you. Let's take a deep breath. When I first started my fitness journey, I knew that concept. So I was like, okay, I just need positive influence in my life when it comes to this subject because I really don't know where I'm going. I just know I need to be influenced, and then I can kind of take everything with a grain of salt. And here I am today. I'm going strong, achieving my goals day by day. That's a whole other story. But think about what you think a confident person is. What do they entail? I think a lot of people think that confident people, someone who has confidence, is probably more of an extrovert. That can often be fake. And that's something we all just kind of have to learn to filter when we see people. Like, for me, it's really obvious when someone is faking their confidence because it's just, they're like a repellent to me when someone's not being authentic. But you can definitely still be an introvert and be confident in who you are. And it doesn't mean you need to walk into the room and be the loud, boisterous person with all the attention on them, right? That's my dream. That's not your dream. That's okay. But think about when you think of like a confident person, if you're an introvert, do you know somebody like that? What kind of qualities do they embody? What body language do they have that you would interpret as like a confident person? I just think it's such a crime that people just don't like themselves or have a hard time complimenting themselves or even just accepting compliments. I remember growing up, who was it? It was a family friend of ours, and she was my mom's friend. And she had complimented me on something. She was from South Africa. Such a great, cute accent. Very dainty and just cute. And she complimented me on something. And I was like, oh, no, no. And she's like, no. You take the compliment. It doesn't matter if what I'm complimenting you on is trashy or if it's like a fake handbag or whatever. You just say thank you and move on. I'm like, oh. And if you knew who this person was, she is just the most meek little mouse in the church kind of person. And I'd never forgotten that advice, because it's like, you can hate the compliment, you cannot accept the compliment or whatever. You can say thank you and move on. And the more you learn to accept it in that way, even if it's super hard, accept it. Accept more positivity coming into your life, into your heart, into your sphere, and surround yourself with more of that, with more people who are saying like, yo, you're beautiful, dog. You're gorgeous. Okay? I don't want you looking in the mirror and saying, no, I'm fat, or my eyebrows are stupid. Gosh, that reminds me of that Mean Girls scene where they're all standing in front of the mirror like, oh, my calves. Oh, I look like I have man hands or something. And what's her face's character is like, should I be insecure about something? Is this normal American behavior? Unfortunately, it is. And that little scene is so hilarious because it's absolutely true. And one of the things too is when you think of a confident person who loves themselves or whatever, what do you think they tell themselves? Think about that. Like, what kind of language are they giving themselves? Their own personal head talk, what's going on in their minds, right? And you'd be surprised, honestly, when I was really getting into the fitness industry and the world and like immersing myself there. I had a couple friends that were bodybuilders and who were in that competition sphere, made it a sport, like that's their career. Learned a ton. The biggest thing I learned is that these people, these women, and even men, obviously, who you look at them and you can arguably say they have a perfect physique. Perfect body, because that's what bodybuilding is. It's not powerlifting competition where you just got to be the strongest person in the room or something. You just have to have the best physique, or all the different categories are like, whether it be more of an upper body focus or like a full body focus. How insecure these people really are, because that industry can really make or break you, because they are so deeply scrutinized on like how different this delt muscle looks on that delt muscle, and like I gotta balance it out, otherwise they're gonna. And yes, that can be kind of obvious, but some of the people I was close to, I could not believe how deeply insecure they were and who they are. Not necessarily with the way that they looked. They felt confident. Some of them felt confident in that sphere because this was their job, this was their career, and they're really good at it. But when it comes to just like loving themselves, absolutely not. That was not on the table. And I just couldn't believe it, because what we project to the world is what we want the world to see us as. So many people can be deceiving, not in like, I wouldn't say like in a mean way to manipulate you or get something out of you, but of course we want the world to see only the good, and that's why Instagram and TikTok can be toxic. And don't believe everything you see on social media, but that's what it is. We want to project our best selves to the world, and so it's important to remember those things, especially if you're comparing yourself to them. I do it all the time. I'm doing it right now. I'm going through the same process here. I might be confident and love myself in every other aspect of my life right now, but when it comes to podcasting, it's very vulnerable for me. I'm still going through the growing process, the learning process, and I failed so many times already. Like, what's the difference? Literally, what's the difference? But this is something I love and that I'm passionate about. So it's not something I'm confident in just yet, but how do we get confident in something? How do we love something? Or, you know what I mean? Or how do we get good at something? We keep doing it. You keep telling yourself that you love you, or you keep practicing this skill. And so to me, yeah, I could be sitting here on my high horse, but I'm really down in the trenches when it comes to this subject. And we're all dealing with something different, right? We're all going through our own little highs and lows and what we're feeling good about or not good about, and or what we're struggling with. So I really want people to try and like self-reflect and try. Comparison really is the thief of joy. It can be. And I, especially lately, vulnerability time, have to be careful. I really have to be careful and give myself a lot of grace and compassion that I'm still working on this. It's very, 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 very early in the process, extremely early. I'm like an infant newborn right now, basically. I can't do anything. I don't know anything. And so I just want that to be a little proper reminder when it comes to something that you aren't feeling confident about, or even if it's just a general, I just don't love who I am. Oh, God, can we talk about that? Because that's kind of, it's just so sad. Like, that just like really eats at my heart, is when I encounter someone who just doesn't like themselves. And I want to give you the biggest hug right now, because it's just so untrue. Everything that you tell yourself is so false. So what is it that you're telling yourself? What kind of language are you speaking to yourself? You know? So I have a little bit of a challenge, a little baby challenge. I want you, and I did this for a minute when I was growing up, because we all go through our times, tough times, whatever. I want you to go in the mirror right now or later. I want you to remember this. I want you to go stand in front of the mirror. You know exactly where I'm going with this. Stand in front of the mirror. You don't have to say anything. Just stand in front of the mirror, look yourself in the eye, and just stare at yourself for a second. Let all the judgments come and go, the little like, oh, your hair. I'm always complaining about my eyelashes, like, or something. You're going to be nitpicking yourself, being like, I could lose weight, I could have better skin, I'm so pale, or I just fucked up that meeting or that job interview and I just feel like a total piece of shit, whatever it is, right? Just let those come and go. And as your mind starts to quiet a little bit more, you have to do this for more than 60 seconds, please. And then just tell yourself something nice about yourself. Give yourself a compliment. What do you actually like about yourself? Even if it's like, girl, you got a good nose. You actually do have good skin, great complexion. If you want, you know what has helped me before when I was playing that comparison game growing up? I don't know where this came from, but I was always feeling so incompetent because my brothers were always so good at everything, just naturally. When it came to sports, they excelled. When it came to academics, easy A's, barely had to study. While I'm sitting here in the trenches, I can barely jump 6 feet off the ground. It's so hard for me to get average grades. I had to try so hard. I couldn't remember what 2 + 2 was. Are you joking? And so I'm comparing myself to my brothers and then, the other people that are what I thought was seemingly smart. I struggled in school, I'm telling you. And I just had to stop myself and think like, there are dumber people in this world. But there's always going to be someone smarter than me. But there's always going to be people not as smart. There's always going to be someone who is, quote unquote, more beautiful than me. And then there's always going to be someone who's, quote unquote, uglier than me. That sounds harsh. So don't take that the wrong way. But it was this fact that like I could constantly be achieving perfection, or I could constantly just being so down on myself because I saw a beautiful girl today and I don't look like that. Well, honestly, someone's doing the same thing to you. Okay, they're looking at you and saying like, God, look at her style. So beautiful. I wish I could pull that off or something. Right? So I started doing that when I was pretty young. I don't know how, I don't know why or where I got that from, but I did. And it kind of humbled myself a little bit, saying like, accept who you are. If you're not going to excel at academics or math, I hate saying that word. That's okay. It's okay. And if you want to work on yourself when it comes to your style or glowing up, as they say these days, then do it. I'm not against that surface, outer beauty, that's okay. You can do all those things. Do things that make you feel good about yourself, whether it be that self-care Sunday. There's tons of stuff. But I will not accept you sitting here and wallowing in your victimhood, saying, I don't love it, I don't, and you're just wandering around the world, just blah, I just don't know, why me, brr. I don't like that. Do something about it, okay? I don't like when people wallow in that victimhood and say, I've never been confident. I've never loved myself. And you're 55 years old. Babe, you've had enough time to do one thing for yourself to change that. So I kind of want to hear from you guys that what you have done that kind of levels up your what you feel about yourself, self-worth, your self-confidence, what you've done to like yourself more. What was that for you? I'm curious. And you can honestly start, if you don't know where to start with the basic stuff. Start with the self-care Sunday, seriously. And then once you start to feel good that way, do something else. Get good at this thing. Or I was just watching, I actually have it on pause right now, this podcast, The Diary of a CEO. And he's interviewing, oh man, hold on. I love it so much that I'm going to look it up. I just had it here. Vanessa Van Edwards. And she's this like body language expert. And that episode has been so like, oh my gosh, duh. And she's talking about how to, if you are a closed off person who has a hard time making friends because people see you as intimidating or closed off or, hard, if you will, how to soften your body language to be more approachable, to come off as more of a warmer person that is easier to make friends, or even in the dating world. I highly recommend you go watch that because it's so good. For any industry, for anyone in any part of their life. Like there's so many, this is just an example of like what you can do to help increase your level of self-confidence and your personal self-worth. You are worthy of everything. I'm not saying that you're not right now because you don't feel that way. You already are. That's where you need to begin that's where you need to begin, is to begin to believe that, because it's true. Everyone is worthy of love. Everyone, even if it's self-love, you're worthy of all good things in this life. You really are. And you need to be accepting of that. And the more you're open to that, the better things will start to come into your life. And the better you feel about your life, good things will happen. Bad things will always happen. Let's accept that right now. There's going to be those days where I feel disgusting. On those days, during our monthlies, right? I will feel just so gross. I will feel physically just dirty. So what I'll do is, I feel this way. My Mother Nature's on her little clock right now. She's running her course. So I'll go into the bathroom for a whole hour. I will do that everything shower. And girls, you know what I'm talking about. The shaving, the self-tan, the eyebrow plucking, and the serums and all this stuff, like the little body scrubs. I'll do it all, and I'll come out of that bathroom like a little wet seal that is one shade darker. And I'll feel great. I'll feel comfortable, and I'll be more relaxed, and we'll sit and watch a movie. I would have slathered my body in oil, and it just needs to soak. So I have to sit there and let it. Anyway, all that to say is that there's so many resources out there that you can utilize for free, for the most part. A lot of them are free anyway, or just super cheap, to level yourself up, to glow up, and to enjoy this life more. Because as you can tell, I'm a very vibrant person, and I don't want people around me that aren't appreciating life or appreciating themselves in the same way. Because it is only one life, and it sounds so like, oh my God, how that's a little dark, Katelynn. Well, it's kind of true. But I take that kind of mindset of like, it's only one life, we're only living for so long, as a way of growing myself. I ask myself a lot when I have a hard time making a decision, on something that is important, that will affect the rest of my life, how I will feel about it when I am on my deathbed. Will this matter? I will say this a lot. It's not going to matter how the dishwasher's loaded when you're on your deathbed. It 100% is not. Save your time, save your energy. Just get the dishes clean, babe. That's all that matters. Okay? Clean home. Okay? Cool beans. What matters at the end of your life? And as morbid as that is, think about that. I think for those of you who have seen that TV show, How I Met Your Mother, what's her face? It's been a while since I've seen it. The main couple with what's his face? I know, that's not very helpful. But they're helping Ted with his relationships, right? And he found out that she had purposely made them break up. Like, she was the constructor behind their breakup. And he found out, and she's like, okay, the reason she broke up with you, or we made you guys break up, can't remember the exact line that was used, but basically she's like, I don't see her in our rocking chair with you. When we're old and when we're in our 80s and, we're in our golden years, she's not on the porch with us in the rocking chairs at the end of our lives. She's not that person for you, because I don't imagine her as that. That might be a little bit of an overstep for a friend, but it's just the logic behind it is like, is this really somebody I want with me for the rest of my life? I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, so that is kind of, and the other thing I wanted to bring up was parents. If you're a parent, if you want to raise confident, secure children, it starts with you. I don't care. I'm not a parent. No. I know I might get crucified for saying something because I'm not a parent, but if I said these things being a parent, the same thing's going to happen, so I don't give a fuck. There's this book. It's way over there. It's by Dr. Amen and another guy. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's called Raising Mentally Strong Children. Something like that. Look it up, because it will help you learn how to parent based on brain health and brain development, among other things. And it will challenge you to be better mentally. But that's all I'm going to say about that, because parents also walk around thinking like, why is my kid this? Why aren't they making friends? Why are they having trouble with friends? Blah, 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 blah. Well, everything starts with you. If you're their main source of influence for the most informative years of their life and you don't know why, look in the mirror. That's all I'm going to say about that. But back to our challenge. I want you to challenge yourself. If you do feel that you have a hard time accepting yourself and loving yourself for who you are, do the little mirror challenge for 2 minutes a day. Stand in front of it. You don't even have to say physical words, but you need to get to that point where you can say some physical words, literal words to yourself, saying like, I love you. I love you. You're beautiful and you're strong and you're confident, whatever it is. Okay? I want you to have the best life that you can ever imagine. Okay. But yeah, definitely write in. I want to hear what you have done to love yourself more, or what I do want to hear some other positive things. Like, what have you done recently that has made you proud of yourself? Was it completing that 5K? Was it breaking up with that guy that was fucking you over? Like, what is it that you have done that has made you proud of yourself? Okay, we need to celebrate you. Okay, on to our Buzzkill segment. This is my favorite segment because it allows me to bitch about something that has happened recently that totally killed the vibe. We've all been there. I need to hear your buzzkills. What has happened in your life recently that just totally ruined the moment? Like, totally ruined it for you. I just love it because it's just such petty things that we experience in our day-to-day life where you're just like, fuck that. Oh, you move on, you know. So mine this week is I made this TikTok video where it was like a day where I had this like surge of like creative energy, and it was already on the menu for the week to have a pasta night, but I wanted to hand make the pasta for the first time. So I was like, tonight's the night, work is slow, I have a little time to put some effort into it. And I was like, you know what would be good with that? Focaccia, because I love making focaccia. And Mark loves having like a little piece of bread to soak up that sauce with. I mean, everybody does. So I was like, I'm going to make some focaccia. But focaccia takes hours to rise properly. So I just started at like 11 a.m. And so I made this TikTok video where I was like, if my boyfriend doesn't propose to me after this meal tonight, I'm breaking up with him because I'm making him fresh handmade pasta, his favorite focaccia. It's game over if he doesn't propose. And it was just so funny to me. My sense of humor can be really aggressive sometimes, especially if you don't know me. I can have an aggressive style personality. Intense. Okay, aggressive is probably not the right way to say it, but an intense sense of humor. And there was this comment that I was like, babe, do you realize that this is a joke? Because she's like, have you guys actually had the talk of marriage and kids? Or no, what was it? It was like, have you actually like talked about it? That would be a better way to go versus pasta. Like, oh my God, you really think I'm being serious right now? I don't know. I was like, read the room. It was a joke, and Mark and I joke about that kind of stuff all the time. So when people just don't read the room properly, even if it's the internet, sometimes I get it, but other times like that, it's like, it was so clearly a joke. One of Mark's mottos is never apologize for comedy, and I stand by that. It was the first thing he told me when I met him. And it's his Instagram like bio too. So random. Anyway, I'm over it. It took me like 5 seconds to get over it. I did reply to the comment. I was like, I just thought, did I reply to the comment? I can't remember now. What did I say? Sorry. There was another comment I replied to recently where I posted another video using the same videos from that cooking session. I kind of did 2 videos in one. And I was like, let's do like a little video of like me just like cooking and preparing this dough. And I want it to be like practicing my trad wife skills, you know. And one of the comments was like, why trad wife? Why not this or that, you know, more traditional terms, even though that's what trad means. What was it? I should have been more prepared. But I was like, I just think trad wife is a hilarious term. Like, it's ridiculous. I'm not dogging on people who are, you know, wanting to do like traditional housewife stuff. I actually love that. That's the kind of mother I had. But the term trad wife is just so funny to me. It sounds cultish. Even though it's not. But this girl was like, why would you use that term? Like, because I think it's funny. It's funny. All right. That's the episode, babes. I'm so sorry. But would love to hear from you if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, help, whatever you need. Right into the show. You can DM me on TikTok or just email me at the email below. Next week, we will be doing the Q&A session, as we might be calling it. We'll see. But thanks for listening in. Your rating and reviewing and recommending is keeping the dream alive. So I love you, and I'll talk to you next week. Peace out.